Hello, this is Sondra Oster Baras bringing you a few words of Bible from the heart of Biblical Israel. This week's Torah portion is Vayishlach, literally, and he sent. And it begins with the story of Jacob. He's on his way back to the land of Canaan after he has departed from Laban, and he sends ahead messengers in order to check out what's going on. He hears that Esau is marching towards him, and he sends out messengers to figure out, is this going to be a threat? What exactly is happening? That incident passes peacefully. He doesn't encounter Esau, but instead of ending up in war, and ends up in peace between the two brothers, and it's a very nice ending. After that, they each part ways, and we have a very short few verses that I would like to bring to your attention, the last three verses of chapter 33. Jacob arrived, and now again here, this is very often I talk about issues of translation. Here it says, Jacob arrived Shalem, the city of Shechem. Now Shalem is from the same root as Shalom, which means peace, as Shalem actually means wholeness. Okay, so it is very often translated meaning he arrived safely, or he arrived in one piece, okay, to the city of Shechem. But it's very interesting that there, right near the city of Shechem today, there is a village called Salem. And so it's very possible that what this means is that there was a village there. There was a place called Salem right near the city of Shechem, or perhaps the suburb of the city of Shechem. And perhaps that is what is referred to here. Anyway, whichever it is, he comes to the area of Shechem, which is in the land of Canaan, having come from Padan Aram, and he camped right near the city. Okay, he purchased a field, a portion of field where he set up his tent from the sons of Hamor, the father of Shechem, for 100 ksita, some kind of currency, okay? And he built there an altar, and he called there El Elohei Israel, El, the God of Israel. Clearly, he is repeating, in a way, something that his ancestors, grandfather Abraham, had done. When Abraham first left Haran, which is exactly where Jacob is coming from. If you recall, how did Haran happen to be the home of Abraham's relatives? When Abraham and his brother and nephew and nieces and his father, everybody left from Ur of the Chaldees, initially planning to go to the land of Canaan. When they arrived in Haran, they liked it there and they stayed. And it's only Abraham and his wife Sarai and his nephew Lot that then departs at some point from Haran, obeying God's commandment, and they come to the land of Canaan. So when Jacob goes to Haran, he is actually going to his uncle Laban, who was still there, from that time of Abraham. And so Jacob, like Abraham, follows the same route. Abraham, when he comes into the land of Canaan, his first stop is in the city of Shechem, or near the city of Shechem. We learn he stops at the Oaks of Moreh, right near the city of Shechem, and it is there that God says to him, promises him for the first time, I will give this land to your children, and it is there that he builds an altar. So here too, Jacob is coming back from Haran. His first stop in the land of Israel is right near Shechem, and when he gets there, he builds an altar. He doesn't wait for a promise. God has already revealed to him. God has already told him, I will be with you, go home, etc. But here it is when he actually enters the land that he builds this altar, and he calls through this altar to the God of Israel. And so he, in a way, is reaffirming his commitment to the God of Israel, and I think they're purposefully repeating the actions that his grandfather Abraham did, kind of as a way of stating, I'm back in the land, and I acknowledge and affirm God's commitment to me and my responsibility to continue this legacy forward. And of course, it is Jacob who will be the father of the nation of Israel, and so this is really very symbolic in that way. But just before he does that with the altar, he does something else that's extremely significant. He actually purchased a piece of land. Now, our sages note that there are 3 places in the Bible where it is noted that somebody purchased land in the land of Israel. The first one was Abraham, and we learned a couple of weeks ago that he purchased the tomb of Machpelah in Hebron, and that, of course, is the first purchase. This is the second purchase, where Jacob purchases this field of land right near Shechem. And the third purchase is done by King David when he purchases the field from the Jebusite, which then becomes the Temple Mount. Our sages say that the purchase of these 3 areas the reason they are recorded is a way of ensuring that when the nation of Israel lays claim to its land, the nations will understand that it's not just something that they took, but includes things that were actually purchased. Of course, that's a little bit ironic today, because I don't know how many people in the UN today pay attention when we come and say, see, look, Genesis 33, Jacob purchased the land. But look at where this land was purchased. Hebron, Shechem, and Jerusalem. These are places that are so critical in the struggle for Israel today. The places that are most in dispute: Judea, represented by Hebron; Samaria, represented by Shechem; and Jerusalem, especially the Old City and the Temple Mount. So when I read this verse and I see that Jacob bought this field in Shechem, I know that he was the first one to lay claim in a physical way to Samaria, the place where I call home. Have a wonderful weekend. Shabbat Shalom.
I hope you enjoyed that video, and we'd like to be sure you're getting all of our video content. So just click on the subscribe button below, as well as on the notification bell, and that way you will have easy access to all our material. We look forward to staying in touch with you. God bless you, and have a wonderful day.